Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery, good to be back with you. Due to travel yesterday, we did not have the Zoom, but it was planned, and everyone should have received notification on that. We're going to have a brief training today because those of you that are debt buyers, we have a special meeting on a different Zoom bridge here at 8:15 Central. So we're going to keep this session to about 10 minutes. And then all of you that are debt buyers, you should have received an invitation, and we will be on that other Zoom call at 8:15 Central. We're to start spending some time outside of this Zoom with those of you that are playing in the field of debt buying. Today, we have an important topic. It's a brief one, but it's just a reiteration because we see sometimes some of our white label partners who we see increasingly competence in developing clients, bringing clients in and submitting them, as you can see on my shared screen, on the submission form. And that's great. Of course, once you've submitted the client, give us 24 hours. We will send you an email to confirm that the client has been set up in our system, and we'll copy you on the Adobe white label funding proposal app that goes to the client. They'll get reminders each day, you'll get reminders each day, and you'll want to help them complete that as soon as possible. Once that comes back in within 24 hours from that point, we should be able to get them a funding proposal. Everyone gets funding approval. The type of funding that different people get will vary based upon their mitigating circumstances. Once they have paid their refundable deposit to you, if they receive cash funding or if they're using the 2,500 financing, regardless, we will then notify you that it's time to implement the client. And that's the point of today's conversation. So some of you, I feel, are not as aware of what you do next. And it's on this page. It hasn't changed, but I want to spend the next few minutes reiterating that. Because once the clients have either paid you the $2,500 deposit or at least set up financing, they expect and they deserve to be implemented, right? And as a white label partner, you can either do the implementation or you can outsource it. But let's just assume that you're doing it. If you've not made some other arrangements, then it's you or someone on your team that is responsible to help them implement. And to not do so is not fair to the client. So again, if you want us to do it for you, we can do it for you. But by default, as a white label partner, once the deposit has been paid, because they paid you through their cash funding or the $2,500 financing has been issued, it's time to get to work. So what happens then as described here? And so again, I'm on the white label page, and we know that this checklist covers a lot of it, but we're going to just drill down to where some of this information is here. So we have 4 modules, right? When we implement clients internally, we do 1 module a week. So thus it takes 4 weeks to complete those 4 modules. You don't have to space it out that way if you don't want to. But you see the modules here. And each module has a training, a white label YouTube training that you can share with the client. And again, sorry, I skipped number 1. Number 1's here, and then number 2, and of course, number 3, and then number 4. Each of these lessons has a participant guide. All the participant guides are found on this link. All of the modules, the 4 modules, also have instructor guides. Well, what do you need to do? It's frankly up to you how in-depth, how diligent, how thorough you want to help improve your client's financial literacy. The concept is that you'll provide them these YouTube links, you'll provide them the participant guides found here, and you'll help them go through these modules. But again, there's no minimum requirements. It's up to you how thorough you want to work with them. At the end of the day, though, obviously a more educated client's better, but at the end of the day with module 4, because we will have provided you the Dropbox link, and then you need to work with the client and upload the applicable documents into Dropbox. Once you have helped the client populate all that they can or will, then you'll notify us, and then our funding committee will then get involved. Then we'll look at all the files in the client's Dropbox and formulate a capital acquisition plan, letting you know, okay, based upon the client's mitigating circumstances, here's what we think we should do next as far as their capital raise. Maybe we're ready to apply, maybe something else needs to be addressed first. But we're going to wait for you to populate to the best of your and the client's ability whatever they're going to put in here, so we can look at the whole picture versus, you know, if you just uploaded their business plan and said, okay, well, the business plan's there, let's go to funding. Well, we're missing too much data, right? We need things like the PFS, personal financial statement, which we talk about in module 2. We need the balance sheet, like we talk about in module 3. We need the income statement and balance sheet, income statement, so forth. So what's the point we're trying to cover here? Many of you are doing a great job of bringing in clients. We know as a white label partner, you want to bring in at least 8 a month to remain compliant. November is going to start soon, so we got a new fresh start. Want to make sure we bring in at least 8 in November. Many of you have higher aspirations and you're shooting for 1 a day, 30 a month. That's great. We're not talking about lead generation today. We're not talking about submitting clients. We're talking about once the client has secured first tranche financing, either with cash funding in which the money went to them, you invoice them, they pay you, so now you get the $2,500 or whatever amount you set in your hands. Or if they didn't qualify for cash funding, then we get them guaranteed financing for the $2,500. We email you a notification. It includes, as stated up here, it's going to include their live plan account so they can get into it, you can get into it, and their Dropbox folder. You have these 4 modules that you can do as much or as little with them as you want. Doing nothing with them would probably be bad, but again, it's your client. You're the one that has the contract with them. If you don't really have the time, the inclination, the preference to do this mentoring, then I recommend you outsource it. You can outsource it to whomever you want, or we can take it over for you if that's what you need. But we ultimately should aspire to help people improve their financial literacy. We should follow through, and you should read through and obviously watch these videos and understand what we're covering. But at the end of the day, we need to populate the Dropbox with this information so our funding committee can then review it and create their capital acquisition plan. Okay, so who has questions for me regarding what you need to be doing as a white label partner once the deposit is either paid or financed to go through this process and populate the Dropbox? Who has questions? Who has questions on this? We have one white label partner I was speaking to late yesterday. He's enrolled 19 this month, his first month in October. Good month, right? Good solid month. Certainly much above 8, much below 1 a day, but that's okay. But to be honest with you, he's not been doing any of this. And so he decided to outsource it to us. And so that's fine. So now we'll deploy our staff because there's almost 24 people that need to be implemented that just wasn't on his radar. So we should not let people just fall through the cracks. If you want to do the mentoring and the implementation, which is what was envisioned as a white label partner, that's fine. If not, you can outsource it. Tyrone asked a good question. All of this is not required. This is not all or nothing. Your job as a white label partner is just to get whatever you can with the client, whatever they can and will populate, to populate into the Dropbox, and let us know when it's as populated as it's going to be so we can review it, and then we'll interface with you on any concerns or questions. But it's your responsibility, unless you've outsourced this, to help populate the Dropbox with as much as possible. So it's not all or nothing, Tyrone. And that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Zon's got a question that's a little bit different, so I'm not going to address it here because I don't want to confuse people. So who else has questions regarding what you need to do? Like Jeremy, for example. Jeremy just had a client, secured funding. We notified Jeremy either late yesterday or this morning. I forget when it was. So now it's time for Jeremy to go work with the client, right? It's time to implement. The client is expecting to move forward and be able to move forward in getting that loan package built so they can go for the next round, the larger round of funding. So we can't ignore the client. And Jeremy says, done. Thank you. I know you're going to take care of them. Tyrone's asking more questions about this. We don't worry about the details. Work with the client. They'll be educated on the relevance of this if they've gone through the modules. If you're skipping the modules, then of course you're bastardizing the model, and we'll see what comes out the other end. But the point is, if you've taken them through the modules, they're educated. They need to provide what they can, and then we'll review it and get back with you. So of course, the more information, the better, but it's certainly not an instance where everything is necessary to proceed with funding. We don't know what each client has in the beginning, and nor do you. So all you can do is work with them, educate them, and collect what you can and get it populated. Okay, so Pete asked outsourcing process. So if you decide to outsource this, what we'll call the mentoring process, you can do that whenever you want to whomever you want, right? Because these are your clients. If you want to outsource them to us, then that's fine. We charge a flat $250 per client to do the mentoring. And so we'll have staff do that for you. And so, I mean, it's a great deal. You're making $12,500 gross per client. If your cost of outsourcing for the mentoring is $250, that's, what is that, like 4% or something? But that is up to you. So hopefully that answered your question. And you can outsource, Pete, at whatever point you want. Whenever you're ready to outsource to us, you just need to let us know the client, submit the $250, and then we'll assign staff to do whatever you've not done with them. So it doesn't have to be at a specific trigger. 30-day turnaround. You're right, Tyrone. So if there's 4 modules and each module takes 7 days, the way we implement, then that's 28 days. And that's a 30-day period or a month. If you want to take clients through, Tyrone, this more quickly, you can take them through more quickly. You can knock all this out in a day if you want. It doesn't matter to us. Your end goal is to get the Dropbox populated and let us know that the client's ready, their data is ready for review. Super simple. We have some of you that are doing the lessons as a group with your clients. Some are doing individual. Again, it doesn't matter to us. Okay, so as I said, we're having a short training today because we're getting together with our debt buyers on the other Zoom bridge. So we'll see you back here for a normal training tomorrow. Thank you for your time and see you soon. Bye-bye.